strap yourself in for Keeping It Real with Jac Ral.
Welcome back, Keepers, to another episode of Keeping It Real with Jac and Ral. And as usual, I am Gabrielle Dolan.
You are another year older, Gabrielle Dolan.
I know. I am.
Happy birthday.
And you are Jack Phillips. But
I
yes,
am.
I am. I
Another year
celebrated a
younger.
birthday last week.
Lovely. Was it a nice celebration?
It was. It was the start of my 60th year. So 59 I turned. Just in
I love
case.
how you wanted to validate that very fast.
But I'm very excited because I've decided that 60 is a big milestone, birthday. Let's face it, at our age, any bloody birthday
Every birthday's a milestone.
But I'm taking 2 years to celebrate 60.
It's going to be a festival, people.
Yeah, a 2-year festival of 60. So, and it
Awesome,
started
Awesome.
a week ago.
I just admired some gifts that were on the dining table, and you told me they were your birthday gifts, jigsaw puzzles. Was there something particularly fabulous that you got? I mean, the fact that you are alive and well and have a beautiful family. Life is good.
Can I tell you the most amazing, fabulous thing I got?
Yeah.
Off
Me arriving
Steve.
this morning. Off Steve.
He finally, reluctantly, because I begged him, got a hearing test.
And have we got the results?
Yes, we have.
It is
He
deaf as a post.
well, not deaf as a post, but he needs a hearing aid.
A hearing aid.
Yeah, well, like he struggles when, like, if we're out at a restaurant, he struggles hearing, which,
Yeah.
we do. So,
I mean, I struggle hearing people in restaurants
Yes.
as well. I mean, it's so noisy.
yes, so he's been blaming me for years, saying that I mumble. Well, like suddenly everyone starts mumbling.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Great.
so
that was nice. That wasn't
I
about
thanked
you.
him.
How lovely. It was about
It was
Steve.
it's about our relationship.
Well, it's important we held that one together.
Yeah, but no, and we also had International Women's Day.
We did have internet. That was Sunday the 8th, wasn't it?
It
of
is.
March?
It's
Yeah.
always the day before my birthday, just in case you need to remember
Well,
my
I do
birthday.
because I never remember.
And which has actually inspired this podcast episode because I know there's quite a few themes around. It's very confusing why there's so many different themes. So
a shame.
if you're wondering why there's so many different themes, the United Nations have a theme which was rights, justice, action for all women and girls. The United Nations Australia had a theme of balance the scales. I mean, why would you need to change from that?
Sub-theme, yeah.
And then the International Women's Day campaign, I don't even know who they are, was their campaign was Give to Gain, which seemed to get the most attention. That's the first theme I thought of.
Isn't it interesting? The shorter the headline, the easier to remember. And we are in this world of headlines and short snippets. So Give to Gain did resonate. I agree. I also think there's something quite nice about giving to gain because it could go. It's like a spider, right? It has many legs.
Yes.
So that impressed
So,
me.
it was a bit little controversial, and I actually wrote a post on this because
you
it was
did.
controversial because a lot of people said women already give
Enough.
like more than enough. Like, give more of their time, give more. Still do the vast amount of work at home.
But are they gaining?
Yeah,
from the giving?
but they're not necessarily
question.
gaining. And we've spoken about this. Giving. Giving like mentoring people and organising the
your
Christmas
time.
and doing all that stuff. You get no credit for that. So I actually wrote a post that we sort of thought we would talk about today is about what you really need to give to gain.
I love that.
And it's things like, give up trying to please everyone or give yourself permission to say no. So we said, why don't we focus on
Give to gain.
what you really got to give to gain, and we hope and it's not just for women, of course, but see what you could start thinking about what you need to give up, what you need to give more time to, what you need to give less time to, give more energy to really give to gain.
And I guess it comes back to Ral, how you define gain. Yeah?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
everybody's gain will be different. What I might want to gain from giving could be very different to what you want to gain from giving. So I think you've got to start there and be a little clear on what is it that I want to gain this week, this month, this year, this lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay, so write those down.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
Those goals or those objectives or those gains.
Yep.
And then say, well, okay, What is realistic about what I need to give in order to gain that or to get me there?
Yeah. There's also too with gain. So a lot of people will say, and look, first of all, we're not saying don't ever give anything. A lot of people will go, and I see this when I'm, helping people set up their business. They will go, "Oh, no, I'm doing that. I'm doing that for free because." It makes me feel good that I'm doing it for free. And I go, okay, so that's fine as long as that's your currency. So the currency
you're gonna be known
trading
for.
Well, just in that situation, the currency what you're trading is it's not money. It's because it makes you feel good, which is totally fine to do.
If that's your game.
But also don't then come to me in 6 months and go, I'm going back to get a job because I'm not earning enough money. You know what I mean? It's so
I do know what you mean.
It's what you're saying about what is your gain.
So you just made me think of something and reflect on the lineup at our last immersion to get Ral's advice on pricing, because she is an absolute expert and master through her own lived experience of doing it herself and figuring out, where she's probably underpriced herself or not priced right, and then potentially to overpricing. And all of these keepers lining up saying, can I have a quick chat to you about my pricing? And I think you've got a real gift there. But it comes back to this, right?
Yeah.
Keehlan, could you stop Sophie texting you, please? Keelan's girlfriend's called Phoebe, and I always ask him, how's Sophie? And he always goes, Phoebe. It's not that I don't remember. I just sort of stir him up a bit. It's like having another child. So give to gain. Let's talk about pricing. Let's talk about your value. This is a good one for our keepers, right? Because women particularly.
It's on value.
Yeah, it's on value. And women particularly. And the number of women that I advise and coach as well that sort of says, oh, look, I'll start low and I'll build myself up from a price perspective. Or it's obvious that, my value is going to be way greater than what I charge, but I just need to start and I really want the work.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
and it is.
slippery
It's
slope.
give yourself permission
Slippery
to
slope.
own your value. So maybe I'll share the story that you were alluding to at immersion. So this is our 3-day Finders Keepers immersion,
Which we've already sold out,
which,
by the way.
by the way, we are running one in April.
And we've sold out.
So if you're thinking, hang on a minute, I did not know about this immersion. Why wasn't I told?
Every episode.
You if you want to find out about our live events before anyone else, you might want to subscribe to Patreon. That's for our subscribers, members, and they get not only first dibs on live events, but bonus episodes and early access to episodes and a whole heap of other stuff.
A lot of value.
So a lot of value for a very small investment. So as part of our 3 days Finders Keepers immersions, one of the things we do, besides 4 fabulous masterclasses, is we do mentoring walks every morning. And we walk a couple of kilometres, stop and have a coffee, come back another couple of kilometres. And this is when I can sit and talk to people.
Well, walk and talk.
Walk and talk, walk and talk. And one of our keepers, Lucy, she was talking about she provides a service.
It's a great service.
This particular service she wants to do more of, but she knew she wasn't charging enough, but she didn't know how much to charge. And so I was chatting to her about that. And the amount of times she kept saying, but I just do this and this, and it doesn't take me long, and I just.
Oh,
And
that old
first of all, I
chestnut.
said, can you just stop saying just? Because what you're doing is providing so much value to people. And yes, it may not take you a lot of time.
Because you've become really efficient at it.
Because you're so bloody good at it.
That's right.
What you're providing is this huge amount of value, and you are charging probably 10% of what you should be charging. And I just said, just charge this. And I think she nearly fell over. But the point is, I had to keep saying what you're providing is of value. And she wasn't. And whenever we say, but I
Well,
just
those are
did this,
eliminating and diminishing words. Yeah. Oh, but, oh, just. Yeah. So they're straight away trying to, they're the stories you tell yourself. So if you tell yourself that enough that you're not valued or that you're not doing much, then you'll actually believe that. Yeah. And so will I. I'll believe that too if you keep telling me.
Yeah, exactly.
So be careful.
Yeah.
So have you spoken to Lucy? Because I have.
Right.
Since you had that pricing conversation with her.
Yes.
So she lifted her prices significantly based on that great mentoring chat you had, and I don't think she's lost one client.
No.
So that was absolutely great advice, thanks to you, but also good on Lucy for actually adopting it. So giving to gain, so she was giving away and she wasn't gaining, right?
No, she wasn't gaining. Well, she certainly wasn't gaining what she deserved. And I also think her pricing at this, it wasn't like super unbelievable premium pricing. It was just what it – but it's gaining – I think it's now she's gaining, first of all, gaining more money.
Yeah.
Gaining credibility, and she's probably gaining valuable clients because there'll be some people that say, "Oh, no, I'm not paying for that," which is I don't value it that much.
Good,
and that's okay. You want
I love
clients.
That. Say that again. So why are people not paying you what you're actually asking for?
Because they don't value what you're doing that much.
That's just put that up in lights.
And I know some people go, well, financially I don't have the budget, and then you look and I get that.
Whatever. Hang on. We can usually always find money.
Yes,
we're not talking about thousands and thousands of dollars here in Lucy's case.
No.
So that says to me it's not a priority.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. Yeah. But I think that's a great way to frame it, keepers. If you're thinking about pricing or you're thinking about your value and somebody doesn't align with it, then they don't value what you're putting forward. It's okay.
Yeah.
Somebody else will.
Yeah. I've made a really big mistake in the past where, I've got a client that wants to do the workshop.
I thought she was going to say co-hosting a podcast with me. She's gone all reflective on her 59th birthday.
Clearly a mistake. Anyway, sometimes you can't get out of mistakes. And so I'll say this is the price. And and I'm not saying I'm not totally inflexible, but there was a really push for budget. They go, no, well, we don't. We just don't have it. And we only want to charge. We only want to pay this much, and we think what you're charging is ridiculous for training. And I reduced my price, and then from the start of the workshop, when the CEO introduced me, she was sort of making comments about everyone pay attention because we've paid so much money for this, and I was just thinking like, and it was like, so right from the start, they did not value what I was doing.
Awful.
And it was just not a very good experience.
And overt.
Yeah. So now when people go, oh, well, that's really expensive, we only have this amount, I go, okay, that's fine. Maybe you can get more if you can't get budget somewhere else, put it in next year's budget.
So get comfortable with actually not giving if you're not going to gain is your point, right?
No.
So
and the point
opposite.
is too, it's I hate when people say it's not about the money. It is about the money, but it's also you're now running the risk. You are working with people that do not truly value what you're doing, that do not see you as a partner. And I want to work with clients that literally, I remember saying, I want to get into the position. I remember, and I said this in front of a client, where I love what I do so much I'd do it for free.
Yeah.
But I add so much value that you would pay me double.
Anyway.
And I had a client said, that is so true because we would so pay you double.
Oh my goodness, they told you that.
Oh my God, yeah. They told me that. And clearly I wasn't just going to double my prices, but you need to be valued. And it's giving yourself permission to
Totally right. I'm coaching two people right at this moment who have made the leap from full-time employment to going and doing their own consulting, so setting up their own self-employment. And the pricing thing always comes back, Jac, how do I price myself? And the first thing I say is, what do you think your hourly rate is? I mean, what's your time worth in an hour? So think of the work you're going to be doing. What do you think is fair value? And then they tell me the number and I say, now up it.
Yeah.
Add 20% at least.
Yeah.
And they go, I like that. And I say, so now you've got a buffer, right? You start with the 20% increased price. This is my hourly rate. So if you've asked me to do 10 hours work, then this is the amount. And if they balk at that or have a problem with it, you can then say, what is your budget? Don't straight away drop your price. Say, what is your budget? Because they clearly have a budget in mind if they're saying that's too much. And then whatever that budget is, if it's not ridiculously low, you can either sort of go back a little bit, 10% or maybe 5%, or you be prepared to walk away. No, this is – because if it's a trade-off, right? If I'm doing work for you and doing it for nothing, then I'm missing out and doing work for somebody else where I will be paid.
Yeah,
what my value
absolutely,
is.
absolutely, and so it's giving. So I think it's coming down to be clear of what you're gaining. Yeah. So is it, and gain might be different. So gain might be money. Yep. It absolutely might be energy.
And it might be different at different times.
Love working with these people. Gain might be, I actually feel good about myself for doing this. I'm doing some work in April with the disabled Olympians to help them share their story, and I've
That's awesome.
I've decided to do that for
pro
bono.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm
you'll gain
to do
from
that.
and so what will be your gain from doing that?
Yeah, that I feel like I'm a good human.
I also think you'll learn a lot about
it will be completely different audiences.
Different
sort of
audience,
not it would absolutely challenge, because I can't go in there and just run my normal workshop.
No.
So it's actually probably the one workshop of the year where I have to put in the most amount of work.
Yeah,
and
but you will still gain from it. It's just not a monetary gain, is what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, define your gain. Figure out what is the gain. Is the gain more money? Is the gain, which means that you are then able to go and invest in yourself in some other way, or use that money in it's not just about money. Money gives us something, right? It allows us something, freedom or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Or is it something else? Is it development?
It'd be things like, when you go to a networking event, well, what are you gaining from that?
That's right.
So be clear on the gain. Clear on the gain. It was like, I want to meet this person, or I want to break into this industry. And so be very clear on that.
That is.
Doing some professional development. I talk about, one of the things I wrote in the post was give yourself permission to do professional development. Don't see that as a luxury.
I spoke about this yesterday, Ral. I was invited to do a keynote for International Women's Day, even though the day's well past, because we celebrate International Women's Month. To a great group, a great audience. Thank you, Tess. Shout out for hiring me last year and locking this in. And we were talking about this, and I was talking about the importance of growing yourself, and how that's entirely on you. Your future and your destiny, it's nobody else's responsibility.
Yeah.
And if you feel or think someone else is worried about that or is going to help you with that, it's unlikely.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So take full advantage of knowing that and owning it.
Well, and we spoke about that in just a podcast a couple of weeks ago about your future, your hands.
Absolutely, jazz hands, exactly right. But investing in yourself, and this idea, if I hear the excuse, but there's no budget at work for me, it's not up to work. I won't have the time, then you're clearly not wanting to develop. And so we were talking about all of the free courses online, the Harvards, the Cambridges, the Whartons, the Oxfords, the MITs, not to mention, funky learning and development, the University of YouTube and wherever else that you can actually really learn stuff.
Yeah.
And it costs nothing other than your time.
Yeah.
So again, that would be giving to gain, right? Giving up your time to go and learn something. You might need to also pay, but again, that's an investment, not a cost. And you will gain. You will gain in an interview when somebody has a conversation with you and you say, well, actually, I've been really interested in how AI and strategy work together. So I've done a short course. Gee, this is the only conversation I've had about this with this person. I'm impressed.
You just reminded me, most people may know this, but just in case you don't, if you do any form of professional development, it's a tax deduction.
Yes,
and the reason I say that is we had someone that was very senior person who was really keen to do our 3-day immersion and said, my accountant said it's not a tax deduction. And we just went back and go, it is. And I actually then double checked with my accountant. I know you did.
I already knew it was.
And it was so.
Do you know what I think the anomaly was? It was because she's been made redundant. She felt that it wasn't a valid expense because she's no longer in the workplace. You can be self-employed or a consultant or unemployed. Any form of development is a tax deduction.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So anyway, that's
just shows you not always the brightest people get the big jobs.
You're talking about her or the accountant?
Definitely not talking about her. The accountant. Exactly right.
Get a second opinion. Okay, so hopefully that's been useful. I would suggest as a bit of a tip for our keepers.
We like a tip.
Is think about what you really want to gain. And, it could just be the next year or whatever. what do you gain? What's your focus? And then it could be things, what are you going to give for that? But think about, what are you going to give up for that? What are you going to give yourself permission
That's
around
a good
that?
one.
Yeah.
As you said that, it just dawned on me the number of times women particularly, and I'm sure many of our keepers would relate to this, could you just pick up this extra bit of work, love?
Yeah.
Hey,
love. Does
Joe?
anyone add love to it?
Probably should.
Mate.
Hey, Joanne, can you help us out on this project? I know you're really busy, but we're resourced down. What a great opportunity. Before Joanne says yes or just nods, Joanne goes, hang on, give to gain. I remember hearing a great episode with Jac Ral, and what I need to figure out first is, if I take this on, what will I gain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what I'm going to have to give. It'll be extra time. It'll be whatever. But what will I gain? Start there, because it might be that the gain isn't worth the give.
Yeah. I thought you were going to go say to the person's asking you, I can do that. What would you like me to give up
Yep.
to do?
That's another great one.
But yeah, it's all right. And the gain could be this is actually a great development opportunity.
Sure.
Or this is going to get me in front of more senior people.
Sure.
Or this is going to develop a skill that I was really interested in. So that's all worth it.
Absolutely.
But you're not doing
Understand what you're
doing it just
giving.
because someone's asked you. So if you I'm sure you follow me on LinkedIn. I'm talking to my listeners.
I was going to say, well, I follow you. Your listeners.
My listeners.
Hello, what am I? Chopped liver?
Everyone knows they're here for me, Jack.
Of course they are,
If
darling.
you follow
It's
me
your
on
birthday
LinkedIn
week.
and maybe find that post, because there was quite a
Some
few
gold in
and
some good tips in there.
people seem to like it. So that's another episode of Keeping It Real with Jac and Ral. As usual, we would love rating, 5-star rating. Share it with your friends. People that would benefit from this, let them know, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
You've been listening to another episode of Keeping It Real with Jac and Ral. If you like what you've heard, don't forget to tell others about it and give a 5-star review. They may seem confident, but they really are sensitive 5-star needy souls. Yeah, right. Keeping It Real, created by Jack Phillips and Gabriel Dolan. Produced by Keehlan Ferrari-Brown. And this really real voiceover, spoken by Richard Phillips.